You've just stepped into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed, your space to ignite possibility, redefine purpose, and embrace the power that comes with age and experience. Co-hosted by yours truly, Coach Wayne.
And I'm Coach Stacy M. Lewis. We are two seasoned coaches focused on the midlife community of color. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. In a world that sometimes forgets the power and the wisdom that comes with age, we are here to ignite a revolution and rewrite the narrative of this incredible journey.
So, whether you're navigating your career, growing your business, rediscovering passions, or challenging the status quo, this is your space. So, buckle up. Let's dive into the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hey everybody, we're back. We're in town and we are live and direct. You may be catching this when you do on the repeat, but this is Midlife Revolution. Today's broadcast is January 28th, and it's Wayne and Coach Stacy. We work with midlifers. Stacy?
Yes, indeed. The music still gets me. It gets me excited for the conversation, excited to interact with those that are viewing and listening in live, and just excited about being able to talk to our community of midlifers, hopefully drop some encouraging words and some practical nuggets. I am Coach Stacy M. Lewis. I'm a nonprofit executive, and I love having meaningful, enriching, transformative conversations with midlife women. And so this co-hosting with Coach Wayne has always been such a joy. How you doing today, Wayne?
Stacy, I enjoy working alongside you, Stacy. And it's a privilege to just have another coach share their ideas, ideals, and experience and bounce back. And you work with our female counterparts, which makes it kind of lively and interesting because, believe it or not, men and women have a very different worldview in a lot of things. And certainly that has been discovered in our coaching as I work with midlife men, helping them through level up in their lives and careers after midlife.
Stacy. Absolutely. Leveling up. He says, I'll see you at the top. That's Wayne's jam right there. I'm just saying I had to get it in there. So Wayne, what are we going to talk about today?
So we're not naysayers. And last week we talked about the power of saying no. There is a time for no, but there is a time for yes as well. And what we do is we want to shed some light on the light, meaning on the yes aspect of your life, because especially at midlife, a lot of folks tend to feel like it's a place for resignation. So they resign, right? They're like, oh, I'm too old. I've heard that, go get a degree. No, I'm too old.
Or it's too late.
Yeah. I just want to take it easy. And so we're saying that there is a place and time for saying yes. Let's talk about that today, Stacy.
Yeah, I think that as we age, it would be such a waste not to really harness the wisdom that we've gleaned, the resilience that we've gleaned, the life's experience that is poured into us. And I think that, sometime at this stage of the game, we don't say yes because maybe we're a little afraid or we're a little uncertain. And so I think it's important to pick that apart a little bit with our audience and really talk about why saying yes in midlife matters, that there are so many opportunities for growth and adventure out there. And while no may feel comfortable, saying yes can really be a great opportunity for growth.
And Stacey, a lot of folks will say that I don't want to take risk. I do that when I'm carefree and careless and younger, but we take risk every single day. I mean, walking out of your house is a risk, right? It doesn't matter what you do unless you're going to just stay in a bubble at home and that bubble will burst. That's a risk too. So you're always taking risk. And so we're saying, have a sense of discernment and go for it. You will be opening up doors and opportunities that you never even knew existed just because you are saying yes.
Yes, yes, and yes. One of the things that served as the impetus for our conversation, we were talking a little bit after our no episode, right, about boundaries and really the beauty of saying no, and really starting to tap into when are the opportunities to say yes, and we both agreed that there are opportunities to say yes, and one of the books that you about was that by Shonda Rhimes, well-known executive producer and director and creative director of some of the most popular kind of TV and media activities out there. And I it vividly recall the story in reading the book where her sister, so it was some opportunity, and her sister, she responds no to her sister, and her sister says, "You say no to everything." And I wonder if there's any listeners, viewers out there that can relate, right? Her sister said, "You say no to everything." And she realized that her sister was telling the truth, that she said no to every opportunity to do something new, to every um new possibility. And so it was the impetus for this conversation, and I'm really looking forward to how we can take Shonda's examples, maybe some of our own, Wayne, and really encourage our audience to think about the power of your yes.
Yeah, and Stacey, I have had some of my biggest wins in my life when I wasn't ready. It wasn't perfect,
Mhm.
but I said yes to an opportunity.
Mhm.
As a young man, early in my career, I left the hotel and tourism industry in Jamaica, where I amassed quite a lot of skill sets as a manager in the entertainment area,
Mhm.
and just started a company, Palace International, at that tender age, and traveled extensively in the Caribbean, living in about 4 or 5 islands for short stays, but setting up all-inclusive resorts. I said
Mhm.
yes to an opportunity that presented itself, even though I'll be honest with you, I thought Aruba was in the Middle East when I first heard. But, but what do I know? But I said yes. I said yes.
You
And
said
then I
yes anyway.
said yes anyway. And I've had other occasions, even more recently, the fact that I'm here in Florida, leaving my children who are now older offsprings in New York. I said
Mhm.
yes, yes to an
Mhm.
opportunity, yes to second marriage and all that good stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, right. Saying yes to those opportunities, right? So you said yes to new location, yes to new love, right? Those are opportunities that you don't really want to close the door on. Some of us need to say yes to dating again. Yes to something Wayne and I said yes to, and that is being an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
Taking risk unknown. Good evening, Sir Curtis. It's always wonderful to have you with us. Saying yes is such a unique space, right? And I think that as we age, we forget that it can be really powerful to
Yes.
say yes, right? To really stand in that place of whether it be uncertainty, as you were talking about. You thought Aruba was in the Middle East. That is what he said, Curtis. He said he thought Aruba was in the Middle East, but God bless him. He said yes to just being transparent in the moment. So we appreciate that as well. But really that you allowed yourself to say, yes, I'm going to take all of that skill that I amassed and help other people with it, right? Yes, I'm going to ask for the promotion. Yes, I'm going to ask for the raise. Yes, I'm going to, tell so and so that it's a wrap because it's not really working in my best interest.
Yeah.
I think what's also important, Wayne, is that we remember to say yes with discernment, right? With that knowledge that we have to really make sure that the yes is in line with our values, is in line with our beliefs. And another way to think about it is that we really want to think about a purpose driven yes, right? Is it in line with our purpose, with where we're going, with where we want to go, and how we want to move forward?
No, I agree. I think oftentimes we question that silent or still voice, and this is where
Mm,
discernment comes in. Oftentimes we're weighing the odds in terms of moving forward or not by saying yes or nay,
mm-hmm.
and we have to trust ourselves, and we have to trust the spirit within that guides us. And if you are a praying person, trust the response to your prayer, right?
Yeah.
And so this is all about discernment. We start
Yes.
every show, Stacy. We
Mm-hmm.
we do what before we start?
We pray.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for discernment in terms of how we use our tongue,
Yes.
and
Yes.
how we help people through inciting certain behaviors from our tongue. And so we don't want to be reckless. And so we ask uh, the Most High to say yes to us, being
Mm-hmm.
able to
Mm-hmm.
discern wisely what we choose to share on this platform.
Let's look at this question that, of course, Curtis poses such a great question. And the question is yes the same as surrendering? What are your thoughts? And I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Um, I don't think that yes is always the same as surrendering. I think if we're talking about a spiritual yes, um, we just talked about the fact that, we pray before each show. If we're talking about a spiritual, yes, if I'm feeling that the Lord is tugging me in a certain way or asking me to put something down, um, is
Mhm.
that yes, surrender? Absolutely. Um, but I also think that there are times that yes is a yes of empowerment. Um, and so I think my I would really have to think about what it is we would be surrendering to, right? So if I'm saying yes from a place of empowerment and into something that is either a growth opportunity, um, I don't consider that as surrendering to the growth opportunity. So I think my answer would be that the surrender has to be in a surrender has to be for me in alignment with my spiritual walk, not always with um kind of some of the other decisions and aspects that we're talking about here. That's my thought. What is your thought, Wayne?
Yeah. The word render is really about to give in, um, to, as in to give in to something. And so I think when we say surrender, we are allowing ourselves to be given into something or give something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So in that respect, when we say yes, we're giving into a thing. So Curtis, if
mm,
we want to look at it that way, yes, we probably are giving in. We're rendering ourselves. We're rendering
mm-hmm.
service. So we're giving into that experience
That's
or
good.
exposure or opportunity.
That was
If
good.
that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that was good. Thanks, Wayne.
Yeah.
Um, what else do we want to make sure we share with our listening audience before you know it? We will be out of time. But how about not every yes is a good yes? What about that?
Not every yes is a good yes. Absolutely. It ties into that whole discernment and protecting yourself and
Mm,
being wise. We talk about midlife is a place for saging, not aging, which means some things this is going back to last week, you got
mm-hmm.
to know when it's not a yes for you.
Right.
Does it
Right.
serve your purpose? Is it in alignment with your identity? Right? Is it in alignment with your core values? If you're not meeting these things, then this is not the right place or time to say yes.
I can only echo that by saying, don't forget about your gut. You have learned so much, you have seen so much, and sometime um, your gut before you even get the yes out or the no out. Sometimes your gut is very clear about what you should be saying yes to. Now, you want to make sure that you are checking to make sure that your gut is not kind of based in fear. Um, but you do want to make sure that you are really tapping into the wholeness of who you are, so that you can discern, as we said earlier, whether this yes is a good yes for you. As they say, everything that's good ain't God. So you want to make sure that you are in alignment with who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be moving forward.
Yeah. And positive psychology, right? It's about optimism.
Mm,
It's about saying yes a lot of times
mhm,
to things that oftentimes you would want to say no to. It's looking for the positive possibilities. And that really builds up your mental strength, right? We
mm,
talk about strength-based thinking.
yeah.
Saying yes is about that, right? Someone comes to you and you are a naysayer and you are quick to shut down the idea and be a pessimist, then you sort of, however you show up is how people are going to treat you. So if you want to get some mental toughness, but you also want to invite folks to be positive around you, say yes.
Yes, yes, and yes. I mean, it really is, this season of our lives is such a great launch pad for new possibilities. So, Wayne, let me toss a question your way. How do you know when to say your best yes, your most powerful, clear, directive yes?
I think it's first to be precise and clear with what I want the outcome to be. So there
Mm,
must be an expected outcome. It must be
mm-hmm,
clear. Recently,
mm-hmm,
Oja and I worked on a vision board, and that is crystal clear in terms of what we want for ourselves. And so
mm-hmm,
along the way, if there are paths that we're taking or I'm taking that seem to be derailing the final outcome, the vision,
mm-hmm.
then I'm likely to say no, not so. But it's an opportunity. It may be sometimes a yes is not an outright yes or a no, an outright no. Sometimes it's a matter of reframing so that it comes and it presents itself in a different way. And so for me, if I'm going to say a very strong yes, I have to see full alignment in terms of, as I mentioned before, uh, serving my
Mm-hmm.
why and
Mm,
alignment with my values so that I'm not feeling like I'm looking back with regrets.
beautiful, beautiful answer. Thank you.
Thank you. And how about you, Stacy? What would be if you had a client that came in with a dilemma? How
Mm-hmm.
would you help that client to determine whether they should move on the yes path or the no path?
Yeah, I think, you and I always talk about being value driven, and that is making sure that the values you talked about, your vision board, that those pieces of you, who you are, who you believe you were created to be, are really front and center at the decision. And so often I am taking clients through a number of questions that I'm not here to give them the answer, right? The answer is already in them. But taking them through a number of questions that A, reconnect with their why, that B, reconnect with their power. If there's some lack of trust, or there's some sense that there really is no power in my decision, or I have to say yes or I have to say no, reconnecting with their power, and then making sure that the ultimate decision is not fear based, but is wisdom based, is
Mhm.
based on this culmination of who they are. And as Curtis just said, right, and it doesn't conflict or squeeze us into a situation where we're saying like, yes, I think so, right? We're talking about a powerful yes, not one where we're feeling like we're acquiescing to the situation or the individual.
Yes, absolutely. The other thing, thank you, Stacy. That's
Hmm.
why folks gotta see Coach Stacy Lewis to
Oh,
make
thank you,
sure
Curtis.
that you get hooked up and appropriately say yes to opportunities.
Yeah. And
Stacy,
yes to things that make us uncomfortable. I
yes,
think, we talked a little bit about fear based decision making, but I do want us to make sure that we encourage our audience to really think about um, the yes, and are they trepidatious because it makes them uncomfortable? And it could be so empowering to say yes to something that gave you like a little bit of discomfort, um, to then move through that discomfort and take back your power.
yeah. And here's a spin on it. When you say yes, you move
Hmm.
yourself into a position of gain. And how is that, Wayne? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you say yes, and you think that you may have slipped off, made a bad decision,
Hmm.
you still gain the experience of feedback. So now
Hmm.
you know what isn't appropriate or working. So it's a lesson. If you take life like that, especially as we are looking at our midlife, and we have all these years of experience
Hmm.
ahead of us and beyond us, we are in a position to take that and learn and grow, so that our second half, as we always say, can be our best half, not better, but best half. So I think, Stacy, when we say yes to things, and I'm a guy who my wife will tell you, Wayne, I can't believe you were saying that on the show today. You don't even want to go on a cruise. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. You're a no guy. I'm not a no guy. I just know that the right way to do it is
Hmm.
to say yes more often than no. It increases, I think, the quality of your life as well, because you are opening yourself up to just so much more.
Yeah. Yeah. It is such a time to be bold and embrace new possibilities. And I've coached women who have really experienced a lack of trust within themselves, a lack of self trust, right? Because sometimes, we said yes to the wrong thing, or we've said no to the wrong thing. We've made decisions that we may not be proud of, or didn't work out the way we had hoped. And there's really such an opportunity in yes to say like, you know what, I'm going to take my trust of myself and my ability, right, to harness all that wisdom, all the resilience, all of the failures, right, and fail forward in a way that says yes to new possibility, yes to growth, Yes to walking in my purpose. Yes to new love. Yes to enhancing my marriage. Yes to, starting that new business. Yes to taking flying lessons, whatever it is. This is the time, really, this is the time to seize the day and to really revolutionize your midlife experience.
And Stacy, in terms of the way the brain functions, talk about neuroplasticity. If you don't use it, you lose it. In terms
Mm,
of you prune neural connections if you're not using them consistently. So oftentimes when people are aging,
mhm,
they stop learning, they stop saying yes to opportunities, and before you know it, they aren't as sharp or shrewd as they
mhm.
could be. When you say yes, you actually start entraining different pathways, neural links to the brain, so you are actually getting sharper and smarter. So when you say yes, especially as you get older, you're actually giving yourself an opportunity because the brain is not static. Typically, what happens is, I mean, there's some organic stuff, but a lot of folks can learn a new language,
Mhm.
learn new skills, start a new job, create new habits. When they get older, we just have fallen into this narrative that says, hey, we should resign, too old, we ain't trying that. And so we lose some of that.
Yeah. No, that was good. That was good. It really is taking all that you are right now and saying yes to yourself, right? Yes to your possibilities. Yes to what's in store for you. Yes to your purpose driven yes.
Yes. Stace, we're almost down there. But before we wrap up, uh,
Mhm.
tell folks how to get in touch with you and anything else that's happening in your world.
Absolutely. So, one of the things I'm looking to publish soon is an ebook, and it's based on our episode a couple of go rounds ago where we talked about my move framework and that idea of being unstuck and unstoppable. So, of
Mm,
course, as soon as that is ready, I will share that with our audience, but certainly want you to know it's coming, as well as I am certainly I have a few slots for coaching clients. So if anyone is interested, always willing to have a free coaching conversation because I believe that it works both ways, right? When you have one of those coaching conversations, it really just allows me to be of service as well as allows you to see if like, oh wait, I want to have another conversation with this sister because she really helped me work that out. So I can be reached on LinkedIn and certainly on my website, thestacymlewis.com. That's how you can find me. How about you, Coach
I love
Wayne?
it, Stace. I love it. So I too am offering, gifting a free session. And Stacey, I want to add that I'm pivoting a little bit because I've been doing work and people are nudging and saying, you don't work with white men or you don't work with women.
Mm,
So yes, I am working with anyone who wants to work with me. I can't guarantee that I can solve all your problems, but I can give it a darn good shot. And I haven't had anybody that has complained yet that I've, been graced with the opportunity to help. So I would say if you're a couple as well, and you
mm,
just want to figure out, can this be an alignment? I'll gift you a free session. And for couples, the session is 90 minutes. For
mm.
individual, it's 1 hour. And we'll see what happens. Now you can reach me at LinkedIn, Facebook as well, and just go in my profile there and send me a little note, or Wayne Dawson, VIP at gmail.com. That's my personal, just for folks on this call.
Oh, well, how about that? Y'all got the personal email. All right. All right. So, what we will say in closing is one practical tool everyone can implement is the yes experiment, the yes experiment. And really, it is your opportunity to challenge yourself to say yes to one thing that makes you uncomfortable, but that could lead to growth this week. So it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to go skydiving unless you absolutely want to. And in Pennsylvania, it's very cold. So I don't think you want to go skydiving if you're, in the Northeast. But certainly, yes to something that makes you a little uncomfortable. There's a saying, do something every day that scares you a little bit. And I'll say, somebody else says it, every now and then you want to do something that makes you pee a little bit, that just makes the pee just run down your leg just a little bit because you just got so woo. My mother would be mortified if she heard me say that.
Or you can just get a dog. Hey, listen, folks, thank you so much for being a part of our experience today, Midlife Revolution Unleashed. And you can check us out on your favorite podcast channel. We're on most of them, and see all of last year's, and we're current with this year's episodes. So please do that. And we'll be here next week, same time, to catch up with you again.
Be well, everybody. Thanks for joining the Midlife Revolution Unleashed.
And there you have it, folks. This week's episode of the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. Hey, we truly appreciate your spending this time in this space with us. Join us next week at the same time as we dive into relevant topics and present solutions to spark new thinking and empower your midlife journey.
And don't forget, if you enjoyed today's episode, let us know in the comments and share it with others. And of course, remember to subscribe, share, like, hit that notification bell. You are the Midlife Revolution Unleashed. I'm Coach Stacy, and I'm cheering you on.
And I'm Coach Wayne, and I'll see you at the top.